Oh yeah.
Can we start with team news first? I know you talked about the illness that has been going through the club.
Yeah, I think everyone's pretty much recovered, so everyone trained today. I think Ryan Fraser's probably the only injury concern we have after coming off early the other night. So we'll assess him again in the morning. He did a little bit today. We'll have to assess him again in the morning and see if he's available.
Listening to your comments after the game against Stoke, it seems like frustration not getting the game off when you were fully on top. But do you kind of look at it as glass half full? Because I guess when that 2-0 lead is relinquished, the memories of Leicester, the character you showed to come through it.
Yeah, I think, and also, I have to respect what the players did on the pitch and the performance we had. To have so much of the ball and so much of it in the opposition final third is never easy. I don't think the opposition was set up to play the game in that way, but the players turned it into that sort of game. So I enjoyed a lot of it until we conceded, and then we got through and we won. And so it was a good night for us, really. On the whole, a lot of players getting minutes, haven't had minutes for a while. We're through to the quarter-final of the Cup and a good draw. Well, a tough draw, but a good one for everyone. With Liverpool at home to look forward to. So, yeah, any frustration I felt was just because the players. I think it could have been an even better night for us and for them to have on the pitch. But we got through it and we won, so I'm pleased.
Yeah, you mentioned Liverpool quarter-finals. They've already had a South Coast match in the last round as well. But it's a long way off, but it's something fans to get excited about.
Yeah, I think so. We're in a quarter-final of a cup competition, so I think it's good. And we have plenty of time between now and then to make everyone feel better and even more excited about it by picking up some points and results in the Premier League.
The performance at Man City, the praise that followed from Pep Guardiola, the win this week, does it have a cumulative effect in terms of confidence this season?
I hope so. I don't think the players have ever lost or lacked belief in what they are doing and what we're asking them to do. I just think results help, good performances help, good process helps. But I think... I think there was a level of pride from the players in the way they performed last week. There was a really good feeling after winning the game. They wanted more. They weren't that happy, the players, after the game. But I think actually the energy on Wednesday was really good because we won and we got through. And they are fighting, and we've been so competitive and we've been so close. So I think the frustration we felt is that we don't feel like we have what we maybe deserve to have, but sometimes that's football, that's life, and we have to make sure we put that right. And it's still a long, long way to go. It's a long season, and we've been so competitive, so close. We now need to just, we need to see one through and win a game, and that will help hugely.
And on that City performance, there's a lot of praise for Lallana and his influence on the game. And last season at Brighton, Roberto De Zerbi spoke about how he learns a lot from him, just as much as the other way around. So do you have the same sort of relationship?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know Adam and Roberto's relationship, but I'm really happy with the relationship I have with him. We're really honest and open with each other. He asks me a lot of questions, I ask him a lot of questions. If he takes as much from me as I've taken from him and I take from him, then that'll be brilliant. I think he's an amazing character. It was one of the biggest reasons to bring him back here was to help us as a coaching staff with his experience in the Premier League, to help the young players, but also to help us on the pitch. Unfortunately, we're in a position now where he can help us on the pitch, and hopefully he'll be able to help us regularly. And I think he was huge on last weekend for us, and he has been when he's been on the pitch. In the same way, Jack Stevens was huge for us as well, with a really brilliant performance. So they are two really experienced players. They're two players that care for the club because they've come through here, and I think we need that sort of experience in the team right now, and that someone who can. Adam has a lot of voice on the pitch, off the pitch. He's a big part of what we are doing, but on the pitch, that voice away to Man City last week, out of possession in particular, helped the players a lot, and I think he makes people better around him. So the more we can get him on the pitch, the better.
You mentioned last week about the circus and drama of the Premier League. We've seen this with Manchester United and what's going on there. I know you say you don't listen to it, but when someone like Pep Guardiola makes the comments he made about your performance last week, does it sort of quieten the external noise a little bit? Sort of gives it a little bit. I
don't know. I don't know if it has quietened it down. I'm pretty sure it won't, because I think we have to win. So I think that's what people will be interested in. I think, and I always say it to the players, what they get from their peers and their competitors, people you play against, you have to respect. And I really respect him as a manager and what he's done. He's one of the greatest ever. So that's not external noise. I think when people play against you and they work towards something and they understand the work that goes into it, and he's been in this job for a much longer time than me, so he understands the stresses and strains of it and what is difficult and what's not. So of course it's good to hear certain things from him. we had a chat after, but in terms of what else was said and all that, I don't know. So, but the players had a good feeling after the game. Not about losing. We don't want to lose, but I always said if we're going to lose, let's do it in a way where we actually come off the pitch feeling proud of the performance and what we've given, and we've been brave. And they displayed so much courage, the players. So we have to live there all the time now. We've done it against some really good teams in moments, and now we have to do it in under big pressure in 2 games coming up.
Last one from me. Your thoughts on Ruben Amorim at Manchester United? He's very similar in age. He's only a year older than you. What advice would you give to a younger manager coming from overseas into the Premier League?
Not a clue. I haven't come from overseas. I've come from here. If Jason Wilcox has had anything to do with the appointment, I'm pretty sure it'll be a good one. He's done a brilliant job at Sporting Lisbon, so he will not come to me for any advice, and I'm not in the guys who've given advice to anyone, including my players. I'll always offer an opinion if asked, and I haven't been asked for one in this instance, so I'm not going to give one.
You know much about him, though?
I think he's a brilliant coach. I watched a lot of his team. I think they're a really good team. I really admire the way his team plays, and I think he'll be he'll do a brilliant job for Man United. So I think it's a really good appointment. But yeah, I am not the man to give him any advice at all.
Oh, Russell, you mentioned Adam Lallana. He's speaking to my colleague Adam here after the game at City that said it had to be this team. You were at City again this week in this game. How easy is it for Saints to be this team without Adam Lallana in it? Is he absolutely integral to playing that way?
No, I think we've done it without him on the pitch. We did it for a year without him on the pitch, albeit in a different league. But I think he just helps the other players around him. I think the team looked a bit different when he went off on Saturday, for sure. Because he has so much courage to take the ball anywhere and voice to help the team, and as I've said, but no, I think his job as much as mine is to make sure the team stays the same even when he's off the pitch, by adding value to the people in training around him for them to understand what he brings, why he brings certain things. And but yeah, I think when we need him in certain games, which we will, then he will be massive.
You said when he's on the pitch and when he's available to you. Is there anything you can do to make sure he's available more than he has been, or is there a limit to what?
No, I think everything. Yeah, I think if you look at his last couple of years at Brighton, he was used really well by Roberto and the team there, and we have a really good performance and sports science team here and medical team. So he's training regularly, he's playing, but he's 36, so I think there is going to be a limit too. And I don't think he's played many 90 minutes at all, if at all, in the last couple of years. So we have to be realistic with that. So we have to use him in the right way for different games. And but yeah, I said it at the start of the season, he's a really important player for us and a really important signing. And I think his contribution will be massive.
This is your first league meeting as a manager with Sean Dyche. You've had a cup tie each, you've won a penalty shootout each. What's going to be the difference between Everton up there that you beat in the cup to the Everton that come here? Well,
I think the starting 11 will be different for a start, and they've also gone 5 games unbeaten, so in a really good place, and they found a bit of rhythm. And with a manager who's got so much experience and a team that's so well organised and really good at what they do, carry a big threat, some really, really top players in the Premier League. So I think it's going to be difficult. I think it's a completely different game, completely different context. And the challenge for us, the same way as it was last week at City, is to try and be the team that we want to be and play the game that we want to play. And they definitely don't make it easy to do that. So it's going to require all of the same stuff that we brought onto the pitch last weekend. I'm really confident. I'm really excited about the game. So I think the players are in a really good place, and I'm really confident they can do that.
Are there an example of how this league can flip very quickly? That's 5 in a row for this.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the same way Bournemouth last year. I don't think they won a game in 9 and ended up with their best finish in the Premier League. So I think there is so many points to play for. There's such a long way to go. 2 results can change things dramatically. Everton have been on a good run, which has changed things dramatically for them. So I'm really confident that we're capable of doing the same, and we have to start that somewhere. So I hope that is tomorrow.
You obviously watched them high up against Stoke. What bits of that did you enjoy and not enjoy?
Well, I enjoyed getting a different view of the game and seeing it a bit differently without being in the heat of the battle on the sideline. So I actually quite enjoyed that. Yeah, I just didn't enjoy being that far away from the players and the staff, but I'm pretty sure Gilly enjoyed being that far away from me for a bit, but not having an earpiece in and listening to my voice, bless him. But yeah, it was good. It was good in some ways, but I wouldn't want to do it all the time. And yeah, I enjoy being next to the team and close. I just have to learn to behave better, obviously.
Well, that sort of answers my next question, but I was going to say, do you think that's ever something that will ever catch on?
I don't know. I speak to rugby coaches about it. We've had some really good rugby coaches come in here, and we've been to rugby national teams and clubs and stuff to try and learn a bit from them. I'm not sure. I think football is a different different spectacle. A lot of rugby is stop-start, the rugby union especially, set piece, and so I don't know. I think managers have tried to do it in the past and it's been shot down and all that stuff. But I don't know. I think if you have people you trust up in the gantry, which we do in terms of analysts and coaches, and to give you the right information, you can feel it on the pitch and see it. But everyone's different, right? But I enjoy being there. There may be a time when I don't, and I'm a bit older if I'm lucky enough to be in a job that long. And we'll see.
Just finally for me, you got in trouble last week. Arne Slot got in trouble last week as well at Arsenal. Talking about dark arts, I just wanted to ask your observations as a team who've just come into this division. You've noticed, when you talk about dark arts, it can be interpreted in many ways, anti-football kind of stuff. Do you see more of it in the Premier League? Have you noticed more of it in the Premier League than you did in the Championship?
I think it depends how you define dark arts, really. I'm pretty sure a lot of us would have a different definition of what that means.
What would you describe?
I think the best teams make the best fouls at the right time, manage the game at the right time, take the sting out of the game at the right time, and have a win at all cost mentality mindset. And it's what separates the best players from the good ones is mentality and mindset, really, because the difference in ability at that level in the Premier League is not huge, but the ones with the best mindset, psychology, whatever you want to call it, I think are the ones that prevail. And I think when you look at the top teams, they're incredible at it in terms of understanding momentum and flow and being able to disrupt that. And saw that in the Euros and all that stuff and everything. So I think it's interesting, and I think it's something we are trying to teach and learn and help grow within a young group of guys who are finding their way in the Premier League. So I think it's been a really interesting part of learning for us, and something we need to get better at.
There's a difference between those who want to enjoy football as a spectacle and those who ultimately are trying to win games.
Yeah, well, no, I think you can have both. I think if you look at Arsenal and Man City and the way they play, and you can really enjoy that. Liverpool the same, but they're very, very good at managing the game when they need to, and I think it comes with elite experience and mindset and playing a lot of games and trying to win trophies and all that stuff. It becomes natural. So we're doing our best to do it in our way and what it means to us, and making the players aware of how important that is.
Thanks, Russell.
Talking of Arsenal and Manchester City, Russell, two of your best performances in large spells have come against the top two from last season. Now you've got a completely different challenge, and I'm not on one for stats, but I saw one saying Everton have played the biggest percentage of long balls so far in the Premier League this season. So how much of a different challenge is that for your side compared to we've seen they can play against teams who keep the ball, and how do you cope with it?
I think so. We've made a point of that. Newcastle away, Man Utd at home for half an hour. There's been some really tough games with tough opponents where the guys have really stood up and performed brilliantly in moments. We haven't got enough out of those, but the challenge is now to do that at home against a team that play in a very, very different way, are very, very good at it. I've a lot of respect for what they do and how they do it, and they are very good at it. So the challenge is to be as much us as we possibly can, but to take the fight out of the game with the ball as much as we can, but when we have to fight, to really, really fight and compete and battle and run and do all the stuff that you need to do regardless of how you play. So I think we're really aware of the challenge they possess, the challenge we face and what they possess, and how we can try and combat that and be ourselves and be the team we want to be and put the performance we need to.
Second ball massive against Everton.
I think it's always massive, regardless of how you play, whatever phase of the game that is. Set pieces, second balls, they're always huge, and we have to make sure we do that really, really well on Saturday.
You said, the season wouldn't be defined by Man City away. We've all sort of said that, but will it be defined by the next two games? How much are you feeling that?
I think every game is huge in the Premier League. I really do. I'll probably be seen as a bit of a cop-out, but they're all massive. Every single game you have a chance to get points. We haven't gone to Arsenal or Man City to try and avoid damage and just to limit damage. We've gone there to try and be the team we want to be and play, and it's the same against Everton at home. We have to try and win the game. The situation we're in is so frustrating, but it's the one we're in. But we also have a lot of time to put it right and a lot of time to grow and a lot of time to get out of it. So how important this game and Wolves is for us is huge, because they all are. And we want to get the first win, and we want to get some points, and we want to pick up in where we are in the table. How important they are in the grand scheme of things, I'll only be able to tell you at the end of the season. We'll have to wait and see.
I guess part of me is wanting to get ahead of the curve that might come along that says, well, Russ Martin's job again, and get to the end of the
that curve's been there every game, mate.
Yeah.
So
your relationship with the owners, you've always had clarity. So have you still got that clarity, whatever happens there?
yeah, not at any point have they said to me like, I think everyone reported the Leicester one, well, the lazy journalist did, that said that was do or die and that I'd get sacked if we lost that. And then I saw one on Saturday, I got sent about Man City, if we lost there, I'd get sacked that night. So the owner's been brilliant. When I speak to Henrik, Dragon, Rasmus, Phil and the gang here and Mark, everyone's been so supportive. I think they understand how close we are, how close we have been. I think there's a level of respect between us all that we can be really honest. And we all understand we have to do it a bit differently. We can't go out and spend a huge amount of money. We've spent good money for this football club and we've been supported and backed, but we can't spend hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds to try and do what we want to do. So we have to do something differently, and we're trying to do it in our way. We will keep trying to do it in our way until I'm told I'm not required to try anymore. And we're enjoying the journey and we're getting better. I think we're improving, we're growing. Now the next step is to win, because we have to.
Just finally, like all teams at the wrong end of the table, you want to improve at both ends of the pitch. And obviously the clean sheet thing is a stat that's been racking up and wasn't all under your watch, because some of them were last time. But for you as a former defender, as somebody who wants that to be right, how important is that over the next couple of weeks to just get that right?
Yeah, it's annoying. So we have to defend with the same mentality that we defended on Saturday, with the same level of intensity, the same willingness to defend and fight, and yeah, it will come. I think Aaron was so frustrated on Tuesday. He said to me, and he hadn't got thirsty and conceded 2 goals. And at that point, he didn't even need a drink. But so he was annoyed and frustrated, as he should be. But I think we had that for a bit last year, and then went on a run where we kept a lot of clean sheets and did all that. Of course, it's a bit tough in the Premier League, but yeah, I think the lads know what's important for us to achieve that together, and it will be important. But I think the lads have an understanding of what's required and what's needed, and I trust them to carry that out.
10:30, George.
I appreciate you've spoken about the speculation a lot, but James Bree on Tuesday said that the players still love working with you and they want you to stick around. That's got to be nice to hear from a player, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I feel that from the players. Like, I've never felt at any point that there was like unrest or they were unhappy with what we're giving them. I think they know that we're giving everything we can. We really care about them. We treat them with as much love and care and respect and honesty as we possibly can. And I love the players. Like, it's not changed from last season because we're now losing or whatever and we haven't won and all that stuff, that you change your feeling towards the players. If anything, I have more love and respect for them, that they're continuing to try and be who they are and who we want them to be. So yeah, honestly, I know, like, honestly, perception and reality in football, I said this so many times this season, but they can be very, very far apart. And if I felt the team at any point had given up a bit or lacked belief in what they were doing, or had maybe lost a bit of belief in us and conviction, and I think I would be honest with myself and us as a group of staff, and we'd probably have that chat with our owners ourselves and say, look, we're at that point, but I don't think we're anywhere near that. And I've been in dressing rooms where it gets to that point and then it's tough, really tough, but I don't feel that. You can see they're giving everything on the pitch. They are fighting so much for each other, they're running so much for each other, they're taking the ball in places people wouldn't want to take the ball, so that's all I can ever ask for them. And yeah, I'm just really want them to win, for them and for us and for the fans, and I know it will come, and we have to make sure it comes tomorrow.
Just looking at the game against Everton, you've obviously beaten them already this season. Now it's a different competition now, but given that how difficult wins have been this season, does that kind of help you at all that you've already beaten them?
Well, it was on penalties, so yeah, I think it's no, I don't know. I think it's really good to play a team and then play them again fairly quickly, so you can have a look at the game and really analyse it, because yes, the personnel changes, but I don't think the vision of the team or the identity of the team changes too much. So we learnt a fair bit from that game, I think, albeit their personnel will be different and ours will too, but I think you can take a lot from that and learn a lot from that. So that's been good in the preparation. We have to make sure we use that to help us.
Adam Armstrong obviously scored in the week, and you praised him for coming off the bench and being a problem with his runs in hand. Has he given you a bit of a headache this week? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think
Armour's always so close, even when he's not been playing. He's always so close, and you want him in the team. I said he helps us, but at the minute he's playing behind a guy that's been in brilliant form in Tyler. So Tyler didn't have a great day against Man City, but we spoke about it, about managing him, and he's 18, so it's not all going to be easy. It's not going to be a straight line to being the best player every single week. So I think when the time is right, Armour will come back into the team. But he also respects and I think appreciates that he's been been behind a guy that's been playing really, really well and one of our top performers.
Your squad's so big, and I'm sure there'll be players who played on Tuesday who won't make the squad tomorrow, and they may go play with 21s in the weeks to come. How do you make sure that they don't look at that as a demotion? They look at it as something that can be a positive. Someone like Ryan Manning went and played for them, like he was a factor in the season. And then
I think that's the point. I think that's the evidence. I think no one's ever, even when you're out the squad, no one's ever far away, and we're going to need everyone. I mean that. And I think we've used pretty much everyone so far this season in various competitions. So, yeah, I think I can only tell them that they're really not far away, and evidence will show them that. So, there'll be some weeks the bench changes for reasons that we feel best for the team, and then maybe someone's on the bench, they're not the week after, then maybe they go back into the starting 11. It's our job to keep everyone ready and make their job to make sure that they stay ready, really, and don't let disappointment take over. So I'm always honest with them. Sometimes it's not easy conversation. A lot of the time it's not easy conversation, but as long as they give everything, it's never a problem.
We always ask about injuries, but one person doesn't really get mentioned. Gambazuna, how's he doing?
He's doing really well, really well, Gav. He's flying, which we knew he would be because of his mentality and his determination and drive. So I think the toughest job for the medical guys is to slow him down a little bit and make sure he doesn't do too much, because that's his go-to, really. He's just got an amazing mentality. So yeah, I think he's on the grass now. He's not training with a group yet, and he'll be a good few weeks away from that, but he is a bit ahead of schedule, and it's great to see him with his gloves back on and diving around a little bit, and a bit of a smile on his face. He never smiles too much, Gav, but it's a bit of a smile. But I think the plan will be the same for him, to get him fit and training for a while, and then assess the situation and see if it's best for him to be around here and competing, or whether he needs to go and play football every week to get him back to a really good place for the summer.
I was going to ask you about that, actually, because obviously you've got Aaron Ramsdale and you've obviously got McCarthy as well, Joe Lummis. You've got a lot of goalkeepers, but he's someone who's very young. He's played a lot of football. Is it maybe the time for him to compete rather than play?
And did an amazing job for us last season. So I think with Gavin, it will be a discussion between all of us, himself, us at the club, the owners, and then to discuss what we think is best. I know what Gavin will want to do. He'll just want to play football. So if that's not going to be here at that point, then he'll want to just keep playing, especially after such a long-term injury. I think it's really important that he gets that and gets the rhythm back and the feeling for that. Otherwise, he could, be pretty much a year that he doesn't play. So we'll assess what's going on here at that point, and then we'll have a conversation. Whatever happens, whatever is decided, wherever he ends up, whether it's here or somewhere else, it'll be for the best for Gavin short term and the best for the club in the long term.